What's good, YouTube? And welcome to Konami's never-ending loop of good hero support. This time it's the evil heroes and some really cool versions of them and good cards. With that, there's buyouts on the market, and evil hero Adusted Gold was unfortunately already bought out multiple times leading into this, and most of his versions are short printed, unfortunately. So you see the OG super short printed one going up because people do like first ed original. I personally really like the secret rare, especially the Dark EU one. And then you have the reprint in Legendary Duelist Season 3 with multiple different color ultra rares. This card was seeing, I believe it was Infernoid first for its buyouts, then Infernoid kind of flopped, then Chimera latched onto it, and now it's actually going for its own archetype. So you're the biggest Dark Fusion fan, huh? I have something to say about that. I think it may be me. It may be me that is one of the biggest Dark Fusion fans. That's actually the oversized, by the way. I have the giant foil one upstairs because I got it after I got the oversized. But with that, we see a lot of people spending eye-popping numbers on the secret rare that also was already up from the speed duel packs, and yeah, up towards $24, and people are biting at that price. It's kind of painful to watch, actually, and that is the nicest version. The next one is an ultra rare out of Legendary Collection 2, and it was already bought out going into this for the reasons we mentioned earlier. Dark Calling is also interesting because the new support says any card that mentions Dark Fusion when it comes down to actually looking at the support in certain cards. And the Speed Duel Tournament Pack Super Rare has been bought out, while the Magnificent Mavens Ultra Rare, which is a higher rarity but a worse quality print, there's a ton more of them. It was easier to make the Super Rares disappear is why I'm guessing people bought it out, not just the quality, and one of only 2 holos. But you can see people are buying into this in mass today, in big quantities as a penny stonk, and waiting for that future support to drop. That knee-jerk reaction to new support, I've got to get it without even testing it. But seriously, I think Evil Heroes does have a huge base. Somebody in the Discord actually said they bought some 2 weeks ago for Edison fun stuff, actually. So Mavens, again, a little taco bendy, not the best quality in the world. I understand why people would want to target the speed duel version. Then Evil Hero Sinister Necrom. People were crying and cheering for him to finally be good. He released in Legendary Duelist Immortal Destiny as an ultra rare and got reprinted as ultra rare. You can see the different color ultras, red and blue, not as chased after as regular. People really just don't seem to like the gimmick. I think certain versions go along, like red is special to this pack, if I recall, and red kind of suits him. I think it does, at least, but when it comes down to it, people want their cards to look like they've always looked like. I think the OG print, of course, is going to do the best, and this card reads, if you haven't, you can banish this card from your graveyard, special summon 1 evil hero monster from your hand or deck, except for Sinister Necrom. You can only use this effect once per turn. So yeah, it ends up being pretty darn good for extending, and now has its place in time. It is a level 5, so you're going to want to be pitching it or sending it, etc., and not drawing it necessarily to just play it. Malicious Bane, again, shorted for most of its versions too. It's going slower, but I would still pick up your copy if you're interested in the deck. You have a ton of new fusion options, but I still think you would be ending up playing such a powerful card. And the secret rare is my favorite, but OG first, again, super short printed, and people are eating them up off the market, just not as quickly. Then you have actually Vision Hero Fairs today on Hero Watch. The quarter century secret rare is being snapped up as it just goes hand in hand pretty much with any kind of hero deck as an engine. You still have hero links you want to be looking at that we'll actually be talking about, but you can see this has been going up very fast through the day and actually getting bought. Then you have Extra Hero Infernal Devicer, which only has its 2 printings, 1 dual overload, and then Battles of Legend Chapter 1. This is a pretty darn good card, and one you might want to consider getting sooner than later using that TCG player link in the description down below, costing you nothing extra to support the channel directly for the cards you'd already be buying, as it's one that might not necessarily repopulate as fast. It reads any 2 hero monsters. If this card is link summoned, you can reveal 1 hero fusion monster in your extra deck, and if you do, add up to 2 of the fusion materials listed on that card with different names from your deck to your hand. You cannot special summon monsters the turn you activate this effect except hero monsters. You can only use this effect once per turn. Fiend monsters this card points to also gain attack and defense equal to their level times 100. It is very easy to make in the deck. It is pretty darn good for resources, and the new deck does like to fusion. If you end up playing the vanilla brick, be aware that Maven's Pharaoh Rare actually got bought out a bit ago, and that's kind of interesting to me because we did get a quarter century secret rare that is super budget in the 10s. We do see, you know, some of those copies moving since the announcement, a lot more than the regular amount that have been moving per day, so you might want to get that sooner than later just to have a nice version, or if you were waiting to collect it, it's still around $2-3, so it's a pretty good time to be having Neos for now if you've been waiting. But yeah, be aware, Pharaoh Rare, the secret is the US print, and that's interesting that it was kind of ahead of time that people went, even though you had the comparable nice version. So some mid-maxes on the market almost feel bloated or overvalued, but at the same time I kind of understand it because hero collectors go for a lot of different kind of things. You could argue this to be towards the top of the collectibles within Neos, and it's pretty much doubled in price with actual sales rates there. Then you have in the metagame, not Hero Watch, Bestial Drua Swarm has been consistently going up. It only has its 2 printings without a reprint really in sight. It's unlikely to be a 10 candidate this year. I couldn't see that really happening, but the 10s always break the rules a little bit. Then you do have Bonanza, but I kind of think this will be going through reprint season, but you're always gambling when you make those calls, and Konami can do whatever Konami wants. When it comes down to this though, it's around $14 pretty consistently, and you see most of the sales around there at this point. Remember, this did pretty good at its showing in the WCQ and has only continued to be good throughout the format, and now people are calling it out against Malice in my Discord. Dragon Master Magia, we talked about this last Market Watch. People were buying it up, and now it is almost $1,000 for the lowest listing, around $950 and $940 here with a Euro print specifically at $700. I don't think being Euro print versus English really devalues it in any way, shape, or form. I actually think the darkness looks really nice on it. And when we go over to Card Market, people always tell me different things based on where they live and customs, etc. When we're looking for the lowest English copy, it is out of Spain specifically. It's 540 euros, which is a okay chunk cheaper. But if we are looking from UK to UK, avoiding imports and all that stuff, the lowest is 1,203 euros. That's kind of crazy. Of course, you would probably be going with a different English copy here, but be aware, most of the English copies start right here just under 600 euros versus our buyout right here. Buyouts tend to lag behind on Card Market. I actually wanted to show this because a lot of the comments were like, oh, it's not even moving on Card Market. And now bestsellers. Card the Market buyouts tend to lag behind the US market and not be as severe as first because there are limits on people buying and the different regions that split stuff up. But it does be moving over here to where it is now on the front page, #1 bestseller. And I've got to say, I do agree with most of the comments and already had that stance when I was talking in the video. Allure is just the better card, but if you're Cyverse locking, if you are playing a Cyverse deck and versus using those materials to link up into something else, they become worth using in a sense for extra draws. I guess you could go that route, but it does seem far overhyped at this point. Walls of the Imperial Tomb is going up as people are hunting, I think, for stuff that connects to support that will be in the tins and not necessarily reprinted. This card's name becomes King Sarcophagus if you didn't know. It goes with the Horus stuff, and yeah, it's not like it's crazy up, but it is up towards $1 from almost quarters, which is about a 4x. Like, that's kind of impressive, and it's just a super rare. Yeah, people are looking, alright, and I brought this deck up. This all is getting reprinted. What piece isn't? Probably, Phantom Nightmare's not in the tins. Now, Phantom Nightmare cards are already being talked in Bonanza, but this is a small super. It could easily get overlooked, and people are playing the penny stonk game. So, super interesting one here. And also, Kashtira Unicorn, which is apparently doing a bit of something in Mimighoul right now on its own as an engine, not necessarily relying on everything else, has been consistently going up. We saw a ton of Mimighoul buyouts before. People just can't get enough of that deck. It's around $6. So be aware this card is also up, and it's one of those ones already reprinted in a Megaton, unlikely to get a reprint anytime soon. Also mixing to the new support, Photon Hypernova is going to have its reprints, and this also leads into that, so it's kind of a double whammy there on people calling, not in the tins but connects to tin support. Be aware people are targeting those buyouts. Thanks for watching today's Market Watch. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy these conversations, and it's thanks to y'all I can make a couple of ridiculous purchases around things I love. Although, actually, that's kind of extra because I have the giant that I got after it.